My name's Dave. I have lived here 35 years in Cedar Falls. I've been going to Trinity since about 1993, I want to say. I am married, my beautiful wife Cassie, and we have a 2-year-old son named Levi. I'm a realtor in town. I have 2 brothers, and our parents raised us to know the Lord from an early age. So I'd say at the age of 6, I asked the Lord into my heart.
My name is Carter Quentin. I've been attending Trinity since October of 2022. Work at a dealership, and I work on small engines in my free time. So the story of Carter is he's got 5 brothers and 4 sisters. 1 sister who's passed away already. My parents divorced when I was at a young age, so I was in between households, whatnot. I've lived in 3 different states, for more than 3 years at a time. Graduated high school, working on a degree through UNI and whatnot. Dave and I met through Oak Ridge Realty just by happenstance. It wasn't even actually planned. We were supposed to meet with a guy named CJ, and God said, you know what, I'm gonna pull a string here or there, and we're gonna have you meet with Dave instead. He had sent me a listing for a house over on Blackhawk Road, and it was everything I wanted. It was a nice small house.
It was actually the house that he ended up purchasing. The showing was getting late. I said, Carter, I need to get home, get to Bible study, and that sparked a conversation about God, and there was no hidden agenda for me to try to squeeze God into the conversation. It just kind of happened one night.
And I was like, okay, I understand. And, we got onto the topic of religion, and I told him how for most of my life I consider myself an atheist.
Immediately, the conversation shifted, and I could tell it was evident that he was curious about God. So we began talking about God, just the most basic elements of faith and religion. And that quickly led to me inviting him to church.
He extended an invitation to me to attend Trinity, and so I did. And ever since that day, I've loved every moment of my life. It's been gorgeous, just seeing how Christ can work in my life.
We sat next to him at church, and he felt very welcome. I believe he came the next week as well. Me and another couple from church took him out to lunch, and he decided to accept Jesus into his heart that day. It wasn't until about 5 years ago that I made a stronger commitment to the Lord, and it was a time in my life I needed to get more serious about God, and that led to baptism 2.5-3 years ago.
I got baptized. I think it was March, middle of March is when I got baptized. I've been trying to make the most of the relationships I still have. It was, everything on this earth is temporary. It's all just stuff.
So Carter attends our small group now, and it's a breath of fresh air. Talking to Carter about faith has showed me that it's not something that I have to plan. It's allowing my relationship with God to become a part of my life, and it will spill out into my everyday life, and that's what happened, I think, in this instance. It allowed me to have a conversation with just a client of mine that led to so much more from him going to church to getting baptized, joining our small group.
I'd say Dave's my friend. That's who he is. He's just give me a second. For the longest time in my life, I lived very, very sinful life and whatnot, and I would hate to see where I'd be at without, Dave coming into my life and the other people, doing those things. And Christ has made me appreciate a lot of things I took for granted. I'm sorry, it's really hard to comprehend truly unconditional love because no one is loved unconditionally. No one except, us through Christ. He gave his only son for us, and it was really mind-boggling just to kind of grasp that concept. Not saying I have yet, but I feel like I have a little bit of a better understanding, and it's just, I could screw up a million times and he'd still be like, hey, I still love you, just come back home,
A relationship with a new believer like Carter helped me to get back to the basics. Another young couple in our small group who are on staff with Navigators, and they reminded me of how simple sharing the gospel can be. So to those that are maybe hesitant to sharing the gospel with somebody they might know or might not know, take a step of faith and trust in the Lord, because years ago when I was in middle school, I was maybe a little more bold in sharing my faith, but there was a time between middle school and now that I really did little to nothing, which is time we can't get back, and I don't want to sit there regretting all of that and feel guilty about it. But at the same time, I think if we just take a step of faith, you never know where the Lord might direct you.
I feel like Dave has, might have a spark every now and again, every time he sees my name, going like, I didn't reap the benefits of it, but Christ is. But, I help nurture the seed there and whatnot. I feel like it's beneficial on both sides, and most definitely it's infinitely beneficial for the person who's been brought to Christ.